This is a single-celled organism. In just a few hours, it evolved into a multicellular organism. It completed 2 billion years of evolution on Earth, and its rate of evolution is continuously accelerating. Soon it formed a prehistoric forest. Strange and bizarre creatures began to appear in front of humans. They even began to pose a threat to Earth. And all of this started with a meteorite that fell to Earth. Upon receiving the news, Professor Nick and John rushed to the scene immediately. Nick was shocked to find that the meteorite that had fallen just last night had already sprouted unknown objects on its surface. John, curious, used a hammer to crack open the meteorite and took a piece of it back to the lab. Nick placed the fragment under a microscope to examine it. He discovered that inside were some single-celled organisms. They were not only unusually active, but also rapidly dividing. Soon the cells caused the slide to break. Nick, after analyzing the genetic sequence, proved that such organisms had never appeared on Earth before. He couldn't wait to share this exciting news with John. But when John checked, the single-celled organisms had already evolved into multicellular ones. Nick immediately realized that this would be a major discovery in human history. They brought their students and equipment to the scene. They wanted to take the whole meteorite away. But when they approached the cave, a magical thing happened again. A large cluster of alien mushrooms sprouted around the meteorite, and it fermented a gas with a strong rotten egg smell. The ground was also crawling with insects. However, they could only survive in the environment altered by the meteorite. Once exposed to the outside world, they suffocated and died. Clearly, they were not adapted to Earth's oxygen. Nick put the insects and gas into a bottle and took them back to the lab. Under their watch, the insects actually split and reproduced immediately. It was completely beyond their imagination. To further study it, they decided to return to the cave once more. However, they found that the meteorite cave had already been taken over by the military. They demanded an explanation from the military, but they were ruthlessly chased away. Driven by strong curiosity, the two of them impersonated officers and infiltrated the site. They just happened to meet a worker who had finished collecting samples. The box contained a huge alien insect. Under the strict surveillance of the military, they infiltrated the meteorite cave. By now, it had transformed into a prehistoric forest. It had evolved into various strange and bizarre creatures. The food chain was also becoming more refined. Just as John was about to capture a small crayfish, a giant claw beat him to it. At that moment, a mutated mosquito targeted John. It easily tore through his clothes and burrowed inside. John quickly opened the oxygen tank, but it backfired. The mosquito, trying to avoid the oxygen, burrowed into his body. At the same time, the evolved creatures began to appear around the residence. It seemed they had evolved the ability to breathe oxygen. And how should humanity respond to this crisis?